You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report's Scoreboard Show podcast number 265.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana. Your daily audio sports section every single weekday between 1 and 2 p.m. all year long.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we could not be happier that you've made us part of your day. Today is May 14, 2025. It's a Wednesday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports, especially today. Coming to you today from Madison Grant High School, producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Before we get going on today's long podcast, I'm going to ask you to please go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. It's very easy to find. You will not be disappointed. Your Indiana Pacers are the first team to clinch a spot in the NBA's conference finals after beating Cleveland 114-105 in Game 5 in Cleveland on Tuesday night. The top-seeded Cavaliers lost just 7 regular season games at home all season. Then the Pacers went into Cleveland and won 3 times in this series. Of the Cavaliers' 10 home losses this year, the Pacers gave them 5 of them. Indiana will now either face the New York Knicks or the Boston Celtics. The Knicks have a 3-1 series lead and could close it out on Wednesday. The Pacers and Knicks played for the Eastern Conference Championship in 1994, 1999, and 2000, with the Pacers reaching their only finals by beating the Knicks in the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals. Whoever the opponent, it will be the Pacers' 9th Eastern Conference Finals appearance in franchise history. It's the 4th time in franchise history Indiana will play in back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. They're 1-8 all-time in those series. However, the 2025 Pacers team feels a little bit different.
Look, we're talking about 8 more wins for an NBA championship. The league is wide open this year. I mean, there are a lot of great teams, but it's wide open, and we've just got to keep believing. We got a great group of guys who have committed to one another, and we have a formula that works for us when we really are steadfast about sticking with it, and we play an efficient, clean game. And so, we got some time to rest up a little bit, and we'll see whether it's New York or Boston.
The Pacers are now 8-2 in the playoffs against Milwaukee and top seed Cleveland, and 5-1 away from home. They're the first team in NBA history to reach the conference finals in back-to-back seasons without ever having been a top 3 seed in either year. They've gone from 120-1 odds to win the NBA championship before the playoffs to 6-1 currently. The Thunder are better than even odds, followed by the Knicks at 5-1 and the Timberwolves also at 6-1 with the Pacers. Pascal Siakam says the Pacers aren't done.
We're greedy at the end of the day. Like we feel like we've been here before. And so I don't think like last year we could have been like, man, like this is the first time in a while that we did like we was just here last year. So I think for us it's just that focus got to shift. Like we got to be wanting more, and to me that's what I'm gonna continue to preach to the guys. And I can sometimes sound like like the I'm trying to kill the party kind of thing, like where it's like everybody want to be excited, and I'm just like man, like I want more. You know what I mean? Like that's the feeling that I have, and I want to continue to just get that to my teammates and make sure that we all have that mindset of wanting more, because like you said, we was just here, we did it, so now we have an opportunity to get better.
Like has happened way too often in these playoffs, Indiana got off to a horrible start. They trailed 31-19 at the end of the first and 48-34 midway through the second. That's when Tyrese Halliburton put on his cape and went to work. He hit 4 threes over the final 6 minutes of the first half to get his team within 56-52 at the break. The Pacers then outscored the Cavs 33-20 in the third quarter. Andrew Nembhard, who scored 9 of his 18 points in the fourth quarter, said the Pacers just needed to weather the Cavaliers' early onslaught.
Yeah, I think we flipped the script in terms of getting into the paint. Our offense was better movement, led to better shots for us, and then we also, once we made those shots, we could pick up and play them full court, and we just made them play our tempo at that point. And Todd was huge. He hit some big shots in that second quarter.
The Pacers led 111-105 with 30 seconds left when their longest tenured veteran, Miles Turner, knocked down the game-clinching three-pointer.
Indiana leading 111-105. Cavaliers trapping, trying to force a turnover. Now it's in Halliburton's hands over on the far side with half a minute to go. Halliburton against Mitchell. Hunter shows a trap. Halliburton gets rid of it. Far corner. Turner. Dagger. A three out of the corner, and all of a sudden, a switch has been thrown. This place is like a library.
That, of course, was legendary Pacers play-by-play radio voice Mark Boyle on the call with Eddie Gill on color for WIBC in Indianapolis. Halliburton finished with a team best and team series best 31 points. He went 10 for 15 from the field, made 6 of his 10 three-point attempts, had 8 assists and 6 rebounds. He was the first Pacer to reach 30 points in the entire series. The Pacers are now 29-3 this year when Halliburton scores 20 or more.
Yeah, it's a balanced effort, man. We're different than every other team in the NBA. We don't just have one guy who scores all the points. I think we defeat teams in different ways. We move the ball. The ball's flying. We got a lot of different guys making shots, making plays. We've preached our depth all, for the last couple of years, and it's paying off now. So I had a great game, but I think a big part of that was guys were finding me, putting me in the right spots.
The Pacers are now 42-16 since the calendar flipped to 2025. We kinda know the Eastern Conference Finals schedule, even if we don't know the opponent. If the Knicks win Wednesday night, the series begins Sunday in New York, and there will be 4 days between games 2 and 3, with games 3 and 4 in Indianapolis on Friday and Sunday. That's followed by a game every other day the rest of the way. If the Celtics extend the series Wednesday, the Eastern Conference Finals begins Tuesday next week and will be played every other day throughout the entire series. Oklahoma City erased a fourth quarter deficit Tuesday to beat Denver 112-105 and take a 3-2 lead in the Western Conference semifinals. The Thunder trailed 86-78 after 3 quarters and 92-84 before outscoring Denver 28-13 over the final 8 minutes. MVP candidate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 31 points, and the Thunder overcame a 44-point, 15-rebound performance from the real MVP, Nikola Jokic. The Knicks and Timberwolves can advance to the conference finals with wins Wednesday. The Knicks lead defending world champion Boston 3-1, and the Wolves lead the Golden State Warriors 3-1. Knicks Celtics begins at 7, and the Warriors Timberwolves at 9:30. Both games are on TNT and the Max app. Late Tuesday, the Celtics announced that All-NBA Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a ruptured Achilles tendon that he suffered in Game 4. Tatum has been All-NBA first team the last 4 years. He's second to LeBron James in active career playoff points, and we will not see him again for a long time. Some other huge news on Tuesday. Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred announced Tuesday that Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, both of whom were banned for life from the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame, will both be removed from the ineligible list and will be candidates for the honor in 2028. A little late, but still great news. Shoeless Joe Jackson of the famous 1910s White Sox, or the Black Sox as they later became known, was accused of gambling on the World Series, although he played at an MVP level and never admitted to gambling in the 5-3 loss to the Cincinnati Reds in that World Series. His teammates Eddie Seacott and Buck Weaver are also both eligible now, but they are probably a little less qualified. The Reds already had a Pete Rose night scheduled for Wednesday. Now they'll get to celebrate Tuesday's news. Reds Hall of Fame broadcaster Marty Brennaman Tuesday said on WLWT in Cincinnati that it's about freaking time.
I think it's great for the family. I think it's great for all of his fans.
I think it really adds to tomorrow night because it will be a celebratory air about this whole thing. The only reluctance I have is to congratulate baseball because I think they stubbed their toe in this whole thing in terms of the longevity and how long it took to finally put him in a position where he's eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame. But at the end of the day, it's something that should have been done a long time ago, and maybe, it's better late than never.
Also, on a huge Tuesday in Central Indiana, 2018 Indianapolis 500 champion Will Power, a Team Penske driver, was the fastest at Tuesday's first open practice for the Indianapolis 500 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Power went just over 227 miles per hour before a lightning strike ended the day's activities late in the day. Two-time defending race champion and Power's Penske teammate Joseph Newgarden was second fastest, just below 227. Three-time reigning series champion Alex Below, who has won 4 of the first 5 races this season, was third fastest at 226.673. Next was Pelot's Ganassi teammate Scott Dixon, the 2008 Indy 500 champion. Then was a third Penske and Scott McLaughlin, 4-time 500 champion Elio Castroneves. Alexander Rossi was 5th fastest. Of course, Rossi, the 2016 Indy 500 champion, is a new father after his wife gave birth to a son last Wednesday, Benjamin Kenneth, according to the Associated Press. Castroneves' Meyer-Shank teammate Marcus Armstrong was 8th fastest. Then 2022 500 winner Marcus Ericsson, veteran Marco Andretti, who only races the 500 now, rounded out the top 10. 2014 500 champion Ryan Hunter-Reay was 14th fastest, and two-time Indy winner Takuma Sato was 31st fastest after a practice accident. NASCAR star Kyle Larson, a teammate of Pelot and Dixon, went 222.030, the 19th fastest speed on Tuesday. Indy's Ed Carpenter was 15th, and Noblesville's Connor Daly was 21st on the speed chart. Mexican star Pato Awards Day got off to a late start because his custom-made helmet was late arriving from Europe. He was 29th fastest. The fastest rookie was Nolan Siegel at 221.822, which was 20th best on Tuesday. Qualifying was delayed by over 2 hours due to the rain. The rookie and refresher test was delayed to Wednesday. It will be from 2 to 4. Open practice will continue from noon to 2 and 4 to 6 on Wednesday afternoon. The NFL releases its full schedule at 8 Wednesday evening. As soon as we have the schedules, Eli Edwards and I and plenty of guests will break it all down for you, and we'll have that first thing Thursday morning. We'll focus on the Colts, but we'll have all of it. Here's what we know already. The Colts will play the Falcons on September 9th in Berlin. That's week 10. The world champion Eagles and Cowboys will open the season on Thursday, September 4th on NBC. The next day, the Chiefs and Chargers will play in Brazil on YouTube. Also, the 49ers and Seahawks will play the first Sunday night football game of the season on Sunday, September 7th. On September 28th, the Vikings and Steelers will play the first game ever played in Dublin. The Vikings will then travel to London to face the Browns the following Sunday. The Jets and Broncos are scheduled to meet in London on October 9th. The following week will be the Rams and Jaguars in London. The week after the Colts and Falcons play in Berlin, the NFL will play its first ever game in Spain when Miami and Washington play in Madrid. The Cowboys will host 3-time AFC champion Kansas City on Thanksgiving, and the Buccaneers and Rams will finish off the Thanksgiving Day slate. Of course, it'll start with the Lions, but that opponent is still unknown until this evening. The Eagles host the Bears on Black Friday at 3 on Amazon Prime. We'll also have a doubleheader on Saturday, December 20th. First is the Packers in Chicago, then the Eagles in Washington. There will be 3 games on Christmas Day, 2 on Netflix in the afternoon on Opponents Unknown. Then the Broncos will play in Kansas City at 8:20 on Amazon Prime. There will be no Thursday or Monday night games in Week 18. There will be 2 games on Saturday and 14 games played on the final Sunday, and that won't be determined until after Week 17. The Dallas Stars took a commanding 3-1 lead in their best of 7 series against the Winnipeg Jets with a 3-1 win in Dallas on Wednesday. Michael Granlund scored his first career playoff hat trick in the win. There are 2 Game 5s on Wednesday. The Panthers and Leafs will break their 2-2 tie in Game 5 in Toronto at 7. Then the Oilers will look to end the Golden Knights season in Game 5 in Vegas. That game is scheduled for 9:30. Both of them are on ESPN. Indiana Wesleyan stayed alive in the Lincoln, Nebraska regional in the NAIA tournament with an 11-9 win over Oklahoma School of Science and Arts, and are currently playing Weber International of Florida with a spot in the 4 p.m. championship game on the line. Ty Matthews went 3 for 5 with a home run and 2 RBIs in Tuesday's win. Taylor's NAIA regional game against Kansas Wesleyan, a battle of the regional's 2 unbeatens, was postponed till Wednesday morning. We will have full details for you on Thursday's Scoreboard Show. And Purdue and Ball State's game scheduled for West Lafayette was canceled due to the rain. Indiana Wesleyan beat Coastal Georgia 6-4 Tuesday to stay alive in the NAIA softball regional in Marion. The Wildcats played Madonna on Wednesday morning, and of course, we'll have updates and highlights for you on Thursday. Purdue is 6th as a team after 2 rounds of the NCAA regional at Auburn's University Club. Reigning national champion Auburn is 18 strokes ahead of second place Texas A&M, which is a stroke better than third place New Mexico State. Purdue also trails UCLA by 5 strokes and fifth place Georgia Tech by 3. Kennesaw State's Clayson Beauregard went 4 under in each of his first 2 rounds and leads the individual regional championship chase by a stroke over Auburn's Jackson Coyven. Auburn's golfers are in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th places. Purdue is led by Niels Sertan at -1, which is tied for 10th. And Supapan Amerchachin is +1, which is good for 18th. IU's Clay Merchant shot even par for the 2nd straight day and is tied for 16th at the Illinois Regional at the Atkins Golf Club in Urbana heading into the final round. Valparaiso's Anthony Del Sante is +6, tied for 52nd. Host Illinois is the team leader at -10, 3 shots better than Oklahoma State and UCLA. UNLV's Caden Fiorini is -7 in the tournament and leads Illinois' Jackson Buchanan and Michigan's Hunter Thompson by a stroke. Indiana Wesleyan is 19th and Taylor 22nd after the first of 3 rounds at the NAIA National Championships at Eagle Crest in Ypsilanti, Michigan. British Columbia leads the tournament at 9 over par as a team, 4 strokes better than Marion from Indianapolis. The Knights are +13 and 5 shots clear of 3rd place Kaiser, Florida. Sharon Chan of Savannah School of Art and Design is the national leader at -7. Marion's Emma Weiler is tied for 3rd at 1 under. Shane Lynn leads Taylor at +7. The final few players failed to finish due to darkness. Indiana Wesleyan's top golfer so far is Sydney Huber. A couple of news and notes. Warren Central star safety Caleb Elkins has picked up an offer from Maryland to add offers from IU, Purdue, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Alabama, LSU, blah, blah, blah. Former Kokomo and Taylor head coach Robert Wannell has been hired as the new head coach at Speedway. Wannell went 64-33 in 4 seasons at Taylor. He led Tinley to a state championship in 2017. We move to our high school sports, and we start on the baseball field, where Madison Grant scored runs in the 6th and 7th to force extra innings. Then Levi Nelson drove home Dylan Martin with a game-winning run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th to give the Argyles their 2nd win of the season over Frankton, 3-2 on Tuesday. Xavier Yegi allowed just 4 hits and no earned runs in 7 innings, and Luke Gilman got the win by shutting down the Eagles in the 8th. Madison Grant took the CIC plate, the league's traveling trophy, with the win and is now 13-8 on the year. It was the 2nd conference loss for 9-8 Frankton, leaving Oak Hill, Eastbrook, and Mississinawa tied atop the CIC with 1 loss apiece. Alexandria overcame an early 3-0 deficit and beat Elwood 11-3 to improve to 13-9 on the year. Jackson Brizendine went 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs, and Landon Fletcher threw 6 strong innings to improve to 3-1 on the season. Brylan Mort went 3 for 4, and Jackson Gordon had a pair of RBIs for Elwood. Colin Otto threw a no-hitter and struck out 7 in Eastern's 4-0 win over Carroll. Trey Beachy drove in 2 runs for the 2A number 6 Comets, who are now 18-5. Sheridan scored 8 times in the first and beat Taylor 17-4. Sam Flickinger and Owen Swinford combined on a no-hitter, and Westfield beat Columbus North 11-0. Zionsville scored twice in the bottom of the 7th and beat University 5-4. Delphi got by Winnemac 3-2. It was Logansport 8, Wabash 4. Drew Wright went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, and Class A number 9 North Miami beat North Judson 11-2. Gavin Jenkins went 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles, and Eastern Hancock 6-2 win over Randolph Southern. Andrew Schemenauer had 2 doubles and 6 RBIs as Jay County beat Southern Wells 10-4. McCutcheon beat Benton Central 8-3, and 4A number 7 Harrison topped West Lafayette 14-4. Kendrick Pena had a triple and 4 RBIs. Oak Hills and Eastbrook's baseball and softball games that were scheduled for Tuesday have been moved to Wednesday at Oak Hill. The softball game is scheduled for 4:45 and the baseball game 5:30. In softball, Jonna Hyatt drove in 3 runs and Olivia Dunham surrendered just 1 hit. And Class 2A number 9 Madison Grant beat Frankton 7-1. Carly Holiday doubled and homered with 2 RBIs. The Argyles are now 15-6. Mia Brooks had the lone hit for the 10-7 Eagles. Brinley Humphreys threw a 4-hit shutout, and 2A number 2 Alexandria beat Elwood 10-0. Kinsley Johnson went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and Kinley Webb had a double and drove in 3 runs for the 13-1 Tigers. Taylor Hawks went 2 for 3 for Elwood. Kellen Kripe hit a double and a triple, and Logansport beat Hamilton Heights 8-4. Haley Hall went 2 for 4 with a triple, and Cameron Roten had 2 RBIs for 10-8 Heights. Rylan Young threw a complete game no-hitter, and 2A number 7 Hagerstown beat Cowan 15-0. Lafayette Jeff scored twice in the bottom of the 7th and beat Clinton Prairie 9-8. North Miami scored 5 times in the 6th for a comeback win over Pioneer 10-9. Jalen Likens and Haley Schwederman had 5 RBIs each, and Jay County beat Southern Wells 18-1. And Eleanor Hurt was 4 for 5, hit her second and third home runs of the season, and drove in 7 runs, and West Lafayette's 14-9 win over Delphi. On the track, Anderson swept Elwood in a dual meet, 100-17 for the Indian boys and 92-24 for the Anderson girls. Gage Benton was a double winner, winning the shot put and the discus for the Indians. Elwood got wins from Elysia Rivera in the 400 and Madison Patton in the 3200. Host Woodland swept a 3-way meet with Mississinawa and Eastside. For Mississinawa, Andres Campos won the day's 2 shortest events, the 100 and the 200, and William Kaus won both throwing events, the shot put and the discus, for the CIC champion Indians. Grace Garber won the 100 and Carly Simmons the 800 for the Mississinawa girls. Lapel's boys and Hamilton Heights girls won a dual meet at Lapel on Tuesday. Jack Combs won the 800 and 1600 for the Lapel boys. Hamilton Heights had 8 different girls winners, including Selah Hewer, who won the 16 and 32. Avery Scruggs won the 100 and 200 for the Lapel girls. New Palestine beat Yorktown by 17 points to win the Girls Hoosier Heritage Conference Team Championship on Tuesday. Delta was 3rd and Pendleton Heights was 5th. Addison Embry improved her own school record by vaulting 9 feet 8 inches to win the conference championship. Maren Gessler also won the discus for the Tigers. For Pendleton, Anya Zeller won the 1600 and 3200, and Ava Gerald took the 800. And Carmel won the weather-shortened Hamilton County track meet. On the links, top-ranked Westfield won a dual meet at Tipton with an 18-hole score of 290. The Shamrocks' Will Harvey shot an incredible 68 to earn medalist honors. And in tennis, Frankton swept Blackford in a CIC matchup Tuesday. The Eagles won 60 games and dropped just 10 in the victory. They're now 13-4 on the year. And Yorktown got past rival Greenfield Central 3-2 with a 3rd set victory at number 1 doubles. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for listening. Always appreciate it. Please help us out by sharing these podcasts with your friends and family. We greatly thank you in advance. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susan.